Welcome. Today we're going to talk about how people with a different mindset approach building systems. We will see how taking one approach may work for the short term but not set you up for strength, whereas the other may take longer at the beginning but set you up for long-term growth. Now here we have a profitable system and a cheap system approach. So far, the main difference is in how they choose to generate their solar energy. The cheap model is using one column of sun shrooms, which are quicker, and they put up small amounts of energy to start, but eventually they grow to full size and produce as much solar energy as a sunflower. The profitable system is using sunflowers. Now, sunflowers have the option to upgrade to twin sunflowers, which will generate twice as much solar energy. The sun shrooms that the cheap system is using don't have that option. So the profitable system has more than double the solar energy generation of the cheap system. Now, while both systems use the free puff shrooms to start, they take a different approach. The cheap system is using scaredy shrooms, which shoot full length but don't cost much. The profitable system is using frozen peas, which cost more but they slow down the zombies. Now, because the cheap system ramps up quicker, it was able to clear this first level faster than the profitable system. For this early stage, the cheap system is quite effective. Here we see that both systems are beginning to put up spike weeds as a moat. That's the value differentiator that acts as an added defense for our business. Now, the cheap system is continuing to build their attackers and place walnuts in front to protect their attackers. The profitable system is building up attackers in the form of repeaters. Now, it's worth noting that the profitable system has put up twin sunflowers in the first column, so now it has nearly 3 times the solar energy per generation as the cheap system. You're going to want to pay attention to the ice shroom that both the cheap and profitable systems are using to freeze the board. That kind of emergency tactic can make the difference between being overrun and keeping your operations going. It's worth looking into your business to see if you have an emergency stopgap measure that can effectively freeze or slow down the challenges and opposition. Now again, due to the volume of firepower currently in the cheap system, it completed the stage faster, and because of the walnuts serving as protection for the attackers, it didn't lose any resources. On the other hand, the profitable system actually lost an attacker, right there, due to the enemy spawning too close. Now here is where you're going to start to see these two systems go in completely different directions. As you just saw in the profitable system, they're now adding these marigolds. And in this game, marigolds serve as an asset, something that's putting money or profits directly into your pocket without you having to make sales or some kind of service delivery. The asset puts money in your pocket without having to be maintained. Also, with the amount of solar energy that are being put through, you see it's able to create those magnets very quickly, as well as upgrade their shooters and make some upgrades to their moat. So this is where that solar energy production is really putting in the work. Whereas if you look at the cheap system section, you're not seeing a whole lot of movement, mostly because they're hamstrung by how much solar energy they can put out and how close their defenses and their resources are to the enemy. Now, thankfully, we have the ice shroom available to be able to stop the board and kind of reset, but absent that, that cheap system was really in trouble. Still managed to complete first, but understand we're not dealing with the same kind of capacity between these two systems. So in this fourth round, this should be where we're putting the finishing touches on our system, and that's pretty much what you're going to see from the profitable system. They're adding more of the marigolds, so we've got more assets to our collection. There's going to be upgrades of the repeaters so that they're firing at their highest rate, and there's going to be protections put around the magnets so that they are safe from oncoming attackers. And there's even going to be some upgrades to the moat area so that that area does more damage to oncoming zombies. But if you look at the cheap system, you'll notice that, again, not a whole lot is happening. A lot of it is just trying to maintain as best we can with what's out there, because there's not a whole lot of solar production available to be able to replace things that break or to add a whole lot of new things. So really trying to maintain the magnets we've got, maintain the walls we've got. We've just finished our moat, which is great. But there's a whole lot of kind of holding on by the skin of our teeth here. And that's the thing I really kind of want to draw your attention to, is that taking the cheap and quick approach when you get to harder levels is going to be a lot of skin of your teeth trying to keep it together. Now here's where you're going to see the difference between these two systems completely shine. Outside of that grave muncher and you just saw on the profitable side, this will be no work done at all by the owner-operator on the profitable system. All aspects of that system are built. This does not require leadership intervention. Now on the cheap side, you can see it's still kind of skin of your teeth. These bad guys are getting right up to the wall, and frankly, there's only so much those walls can take. So we still got to worry about the magnets that are being lost, replacing them, using an ice shroom, all manner of things. So again, with the cheap and quick system, there's no stepping away from it. You're kind of committing yourself to I have to manage this every single day, very attentively, and I have to be ready to respond in case of an emergency. Whereas what we're seeing in the profitable group, it's making you money, it's operating on its own, it's finishing faster than the cheap system. And even with the ice shroom that just froze the board on the cheap system, keep watch. So already we're seeing that system start to break apart. Under repeated stress, or if anything is missed, you would see it break apart even further. As you can see with the sunk cost versus the system spend, this is moving in the wrong direction. Your sunk costs are getting far too high and your system spend is still relatively low. But on top of that, there's two major differences I want to call out here. One is this has made you no profits. This is all you are operating off of money in, money out, check to check. And it saved you no time at all because you are actively having to manage this. Whereas the profitable system not only made you money, it also saved you an entire round of engagement to focus on whatever else you need to focus on, even if that's yourself.